Good morning. My name is Barry Bergman, and I am a member of Temple Emmanuel's Israel Action Committee. I'm pleased to welcome you to our program, Jews and Arabs Collaborating on Water, Climate, and Peace, with our guest speaker, Dr. Tarek Abu Hamid. Dr. Tarek Abu Hamid is in his second year as Executive Director of the Arava Institute for Environmental Studies, and is founder of its Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Conservation. Last month, Israel 21C named him one of the 48 Israelis uniquely shaping Israel and the world. With degrees from Gaza and Ankara universities in Turkey, and Hebrew University, and postdoctoral work at the Weizmann Institute in Israel and the University of Minnesota, Tarek has published extensively in a wide variety of journals and has been recognized with several awards, including the Dan David Prize. Formerly as the Israeli Ministry of Science's Deputy Chief Scientist and its acting Chief Scientist, he was the highest-ranking Palestinian in the Israeli government. Today, he leads regional cooperation through applied environmental diplomacy and is the co-chair of the Regional Cooperation and Security Task Force of President Herzog's Israel Climate Forum. At the end of Tarek's talk, we'll have a Q&A session. So please write your questions in the chat box at the bottom of the screen. Welcome, Tarek. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Barry. Good morning, everyone. It's really great pleasure and honor to be with you this morning. And I'm really grateful and thankful for the Temple Emmanuel for organizing this event. And many thanks also to our friend and colleague, Daniel Kane, also for helping organizing this event. Today, actually, I want to talk to you about probably things that you don't hear about Israel or from the Middle East, things that are good, fruitful, and important for the region. I will not talk about the turmoil in that part of the world or the politics, and I will spend the next 30 minutes talking about the great work of the Arava Institute in shaping the Middle East, on creating a Middle East that we all hope and want to see. The Arava Institute is an academic and research institution, is located in the southern parts of Israel, and we have an office in Boston, in Newton. Our friends of the Arava Institute are located there. Miriam May, our chief of staff at that office, and also Rachel Calico, our development department head. I will share my screen with you in order to copy. Okay, I think you see my screen. Okay, so what is lacking in the Middle East? We have plenty of peace treaties, which is great and nice, with Egypt, with Jordan, the Abraham Accords, kind of peace treaty with the Palestinians. Do we have peace on the ground? I'll leave that answer for you. Does that region lack natural resources? We have the right technology that we can use to produce our water, use that water for drinking, for agriculture, and to produce our food. We have plenty of sun that we can convert into electricity and generate the energy that we need to run our economy. What lacks in the Middle East is trust. And the lack of this trust actually preventing the people of the region from benefiting from the peace treaties, from cooperating with each other to solve the region's not only environmental challenges, but the problems that part of the world is facing. And this is what we try to do at the Arava Institute through two main pillars. The first one is the academic program. We are an academic institution as I said, located in the southern part of Israel, in Kibbutz Keturah. 1/3 of our students are Jewish Israelis, Hebrew speakers, 1/3 international students, and 1/3 Arabic speakers, Israeli Arabs, Palestinians from the West Bank and Gaza, Jordanians, Moroccans, Sudanese, and these students come for a university semester to the Arava Institute, 3 to 4 months, and they live together. As I said, we are located in Kibbutz Keturah. It's in the middle of nowhere, in the southern tip of Israel. And these students live 24/7 together. They go to the same dining room in the kibbutz, to the same classroom, and at the end of the day, they share rooms. And we live in the Middle East, and we have a lot of action. We have a lot of political conflict. We have terror attacks in the north and in the center. We have wars between Israel and Gaza, and we run an academic institution under these circumstances. And when these conflict events happen, students talk about that. They are, as I said, exposed to the reality of the region. It's not a traditional university program under the political circumstances, but in order to have a healthy academic program, we cannot ignore the conflict. We have to talk about everything that's happening at that part of the world. We are an environmental studies program, and when we talk about pollution, who caused the pollution, who's in charge of cleaning that pollution, water rights, politics always rise, and we have very hot discussions in the classrooms. Students shout, they fight, but at the end of the day, they go back to the same dormitories and they share rooms. We also have what we call the peace building and the dialogue forum, where students talk about everything: politics, religion, culture. They share personal stories, family stories. Palestinians share their experience living in a refugee camp or in Gaza or in the Palestinian village. Israelis share their stories of serving in the army. And this opportunity for an academic semester for 3 or 4 months gives them the opportunity to see the human in the other, to build that kind of understanding of the narratives. They build understanding, but they may disagree with each other. And this is what's lacking in that part of the world, in the Middle East, to build understanding in order to have the trust that we need, the trust that will help us work together. In that dialogue forum, we have the multi-narrative trip, where we take the students to Jerusalem. They see the Palestinian side, they see the Israeli side, they see the wall, they talk to people from the left, from the right, the whole political spectrum, and they are exposed to the reality of this region. We also take them during that trip to the Holocaust Museum, to Yad Vashem, and in one of these trips, we had a student from Gaza, and an Israeli woman student looks at him and says, "You know what? I did my civil service in Yad Vashem. Let me give you the tour." She gives him the tour, and at the end of the tour, he looks at her and says, "Odelia, you know what? Now I understand why you Jewish people needed a state." To hear that statement from a Palestinian, from a Gazan who never been out of Gaza. The first time he went out of Gaza was to the Arava Institute. A Gazan that he never heard good things about Israel. To hear that statement from this young man was very powerful for every one of us. And that shows that kind of understanding that they managed to build through this program. And this is what we try to do at the Arava Institute, use the science policy, the academic policy, to bring people together, to build that understanding, which is lacking at that part of the world. We also have an internship program where interns come and do research in one of the research centers that we have at the Arava Institute. And interns are part of the academic program. They live with the students, but they work in one of the research centers that we have. We are also a research institution. We have several research centers that deal with renewable energy, transboundary water management, sustainable agriculture, social ecological research. And at the Arava Institute, we cover the whole spectrum of research, not only basic research to understand how nature works, We do also applied research. We develop technologies, and we do a lot of work with the communities in the region. Because our agenda is not only to have a better environment for everyone. No, we want also to build trust, and we want the people of the region to feel the fruit of the cooperation that we have. That's why we work with communities. We work with people in the Negev, in the northern parts of Israel, in the West Bank, in Gaza, in Jordan, United Arab Emirates, in Morocco, in Kenya, in Sudan, because we want people, as I said, to benefit from the products of these research. And we implement projects on the ground. And the next slides, you will see some of these examples. Besides these important research centers, we established what we call the Regional Climate Change Policy and Research Center. Here in these photos, you see the Arava Institute in Kibbutz Keturah. I don't know if you see my mouse or not. This is Kibbutz Keturah, and this is actually the expansion of our campus in the kibbutz. And we see this campus as the regional hub for climate change. When I say regional, it's not only Israel, Jordan, Palestine. It's beyond that part. It's Morocco, it's Bahrain, it's North Africa, the Gulf countries. And why do we want to be the regional hub for climate change? First of all, we have 26 years of experience in regional cooperation. We know as an Israeli institution how to work with our neighbors, and we use climate. It's a kind of tikkun ulam. One country alone cannot deal with climate change, and Israel and the Arava Institute has the right experience and the right technologies that we can use to do tikkun ulam in the whole region that we live in. Another reason is the geographical location. We are 30 miles from the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aqaba, 32 miles from Egypt, Taba, like probably 35 miles from Saudi Arabia, and we are half an hour flight from Tel Aviv. And as I said, the 25 or the 26 years of experience makes us very well positioned to become the regional hub of climate change. And why climate change? Because the Middle East is considered as a hotspot when it comes to climate change. The temperatures of the Red Sea, the temperatures of the Eastern Mediterranean, the increase in the air temperature. We are 1.5 centigrades above the global average. The heat waves, the cold waves that region is facing, the reduction in the rainfall, the increase in the sea level. And we know that climate change is not only an environmental issue, it's a challenge that is impacting the daily life of the people at that part of the world. The delta of the Nile, if we continue business as usual, within 2, maximum 3 decades, it will be underwater. And the delta of the Nile, as you know, it's a home for more than 20 million Egyptians who live on agriculture. These people will lose their jobs, and they will become climate refugees. So climate change is a first-degree security issue. And the Arava Institute, again, has the knowledge, has the expertise, not only for technologies that deal with environmental issues, but also the expertise and the know-how to cooperate with our neighbors. We know how to build trust. We know how to build coalition to deal with environmental challenges. We also at the Arava Institute have what we call the Track 2 Environmental Forum. It's a forum that brings civil society organizations together, builds coalitions of organizations to prepare the ground for the future environmental agreements. And we at the Arava Institute believe that nature knows no borders. Nature cannot wait for peace treaties to happen, for real peace to happen. Pollution cannot wait for these kind of agreements, and doesn't stop in the border or on the checkpoint. When there's a pollution, when there's an environmental challenge, everyone is impacted by that. And we have to build the right coalitions from civil society organizations, former diplomats, official levels, to build a kind of forum that will deal with the environmental challenges of the region. And now I'll give you some examples of the projects that we conduct in the region. And I will start with this water gen, a technology that it's an Israeli technology. It's a technology that we did not develop at the Arava Institute, but we managed to send this technology into Gaza. It's a technology that produces drinking water from air. It harnesses the humidity and converts it into drinking water. And why Gaza? Look, almost 97% of the drinking water in the aquifer in Gaza is not good for human consumption. The aquifer is polluted. Gaza doesn't receive enough electricity to do water desalination. That's why we decided to send this technology into Gaza. We managed to send 7 systems. Some of them produce almost 1,000 liters a day, some of them 5,000 liters of drinking water a day. All of these systems are installed in hospitals and clinics in Gaza. All of these systems got the approval of the Israeli government, of the Israeli army, to be sent into Gaza. During the last war, I've been in touch with our Gazan partners, asking them, how are these systems? Are they functioning? Are they generating water? Did anything happen to them? And they said, look, it's war. We cannot reach them. Roads are plugged. It's unsafe. The war ended on Erev Shabbat, on Friday evening. Saturday morning, we received photos of people standing in line, filling water from these systems. And 2 days later, after the war, Monday morning, we received 5 requests from 5 different municipalities in Gaza, asking for more systems. The success in my eyes is not to send the technology into Gaza. It's not to send the device into Gaza. The success is to be, as an Israeli organization, in continuous communication with your Palestinian partner, even during the toughest time of the year. That is the success, to keep this communication channel open, to build the trust, and to allow people to talk, to implement projects, to make the lives of the people of that region better, and even better. As I said, we managed to send 7 systems into Gaza. All of them run on solar electricity. They are not connected to the network, the electricity network in Gaza. They are off-grid with electricity storage installed in clinics, and the quality of the water is very high. And these systems not only serve the clinics, but also serve the communities in that part of Gaza. We managed also to send to Gaza an off-grid wastewater treatment plant. As I said, Gaza suffers from the lack of electricity. The lack of electricity prevents them from treating the wastewater. So what happens to the wastewater? It infiltrates into the aquifer. And that aquifer is shared between Israel and Gaza. It's the coastal aquifer. So the pollution doesn't stay in Gaza. And the untreated wastewater, sometimes they dump it into the open fields, filtrates into the aquifer, or sometimes they dump it into the Mediterranean. And we know that 70% of the beaches in Gaza are polluted with sewage. People cannot swim. And the sewage doesn't stay in the shores of Gaza. It travels north to Ashkelon. And Ashkelon is a house or home of one of the largest desalination plants in the world. And when you have sewage or organic pollution in the seawater, you cannot desalinate the seawater. And because of the pollution that comes from Gaza, that desalination plant in Ashkelon had to close several times last year and the year before, because the microorganism grows inside these membranes. And once they grow, the membranes, the desalination membranes, become useless. And when these plants close for several days a year, that means millions of shekels of loss because of that closure. So we see there's lack of electricity. They don't treat the wastewater. There is sea pollution, and Israel is impacted out of that. That's why we do this work with our Palestinian partners in Gaza, because again, nature knows no borders, pollution knows no borders, it doesn't stay within Gaza. It impacts everyone in the region. We do also similar work, and we'll show that in some slides also in the West Bank, because the shared aquifer in the West Bank, the aquifer in the West Bank is shared also between Israel and and the West Bank and the West Bank. And these are photos of the great wastewater treatment plant traveling from the Erez checkpoint in the Israeli side to Gaza. And again, you can see at the top right part of the slide the approval that we got from the army to send these systems into Gaza. And the army knows where these systems are. They have a GPS system, and the army knows exactly where they are. And these are photos of the construction for the wastewater treatment plant in Gaza. And this is once we installed the plant. It runs also on solar energy, doesn't need to be connected to the network in Gaza. And when we implement project, doesn't matter where, in Gaza, in the Negev, in the northern parts of Israel, we take sustainability very seriously. Not only sustainability from the environmental point of view, but also from the business point of view, from the maintenance of the projects. That's why we brought into Israel 2 groups of engineers and technicians, young engineers and technicians, to train them how to use these systems, how to maintain them, how to design a solar system, how to design a sustainable agricultural farm. So more than 40 people came to this training to the Arava Institute. We also took them to Petah Tikva, where the water gen company there, and they received the training to run these systems. And then one engineer that came for the training for the wastewater treatment plant, I think he was like 27 years old, young engineer, and he said, in his way from Gaza to the Arava, you know what? This is the first time of my life I see a mountain. Gaza is black; its surface is no mountains. And 27 years old, the first time out of Gaza. It's really sad. Gaza is a city with almost like 2 million people. 70% of them are below the age of 25. It's like almost 1.5 million people below the age of 25. 1.5 million people that they have nothing to lose. They don't have jobs. Most of them are university graduates. And we all can imagine how easy to recruit these people to any purpose. So when we bring these people into Israel and we give them the right tools to establish an NGO, to establish a company, to do sustainable agriculture, we change their lives. We give them the hope to become a normal citizen, and we expose them to the reality of the region. They come to Israel, they spend a significant period of time. Some of them stay for a semester, some of them stay for two semesters. They get a graduate degree from Israel, and they go back into Gaza. They become the ambassadors of Israel. They become the ambassadors of environment, the ambassadors of the Arava Institute. Another significant project that we managed to implement in the West Bank, it's the Albira wastewater treatment and reuse. Albira is a city near Ramallah. It's probably like 7 miles from Jerusalem. It has a wastewater treatment plant, very high tech. I think you see my mouse here. The tip of this green line, this is the location of the wastewater treatments. It treats the wastewater for Ramallah and Albira, Burka, Psagot, Jewish settlement, and the treated wastewater flows into this valley here, treated high quality. But this valley here is an area C, which is under the Israeli control. The inlet of the wastewater treatment is in area A. The outlet is in area C. So the Palestinians control the inlet, the Israelis control the outlet. The Palestinians cannot use that treated wastewater, which is good for agriculture. The treated wastewater flows, and it mixes with untreated sewage that comes from northern parts of Jerusalem, which belongs to the Israeli Jerusalem municipality, Palestinian villages in the northern parts of of Jerusalem. And the untreated sewage mixes with the treated wastewater, and they both become polluted and they flow toward Wadi al-Kilt. If you visited Israel and if you travel from Jerusalem to Jericho, it's on your left-hand side. It's a touristic site. It's a site with natural springs. And this pollution that comes from the northern parts of Jerusalem with the treated wastewater pollutes the aquifer. And the Israeli Mekorot company, the water company, had to close several wells in that region because of this pollution. The natural springs in Wadi al-Kilt are polluted with sewage. So this project was a priority for Israel because it pollutes the aquifer. It is a priority for the Palestinians because they want to use the treated wastewater. But because the Israelis and the Palestinians don't talk to each other, this project was stuck since like the Oslo Accords. And we have a Palestinian researcher who said, guys, we have this project, let's try to solve it. It took us almost 4 years to take this photo. This photo of Israeli team from the civil administration and a Palestinian group from the Palestinian Water Authority. We managed to bring these people together and convince them about the importance of this project. The Palestinians want to use the water. The Israelis want to prevent the pollution. They don't talk to each other. So we, as an Israeli institution, we talk to the Israeli army, and our Palestinian researchers talk to the Palestinian Water Authority. We hired a Palestinian consultant, and we asked them to prepare a plan how they oversee or the solution for this project. And we went to the civil administration and we asked them for the same thing. What are the solutions for these projects? And the Israeli civil administration submitted to us like 3-4 routes to allow the Palestinians to build a pipeline to take the treated wastewater from Al-Bire to the Jordan Valley. So we took that to the Palestinians, and they selected one route. And we had this like under table negotiations below the radar for 4 years. And we managed to take this photo. And after this photo, after we managed to bring the two teams together, the language became just a technical language, not a political language, engineering language, 100%. And within 7 months after this photo, we managed to get a building permission to build a pipeline that almost like 20 miles from Al-Bire to the Jordan Valley to take the treated wastewater for the farmers in the Jordan Valley. And the untreated sewage, currently we are working to create a plan to divert it to the treatment plant in Al-Bire to solve the problem 100%. And hopefully the closed wells in that part of the Wadi will become functioning again, and the natural springs will remediate themselves. There was a lot of noise about this project in the press, but this shows the importance of the environmental diplomacy, the work. When you just talk about the benefits, the advantages of these projects to the people in the region. Another project that we developed at the Arava Institute is what we call the Laguna Tech. It's a modular system that treats the wastewater. Why are we interested in such systems? Because in most of the developing world, around the world, and specifically in the Middle East, villages are not connected to the sewage network. Villages, they have their own systems. Houses, they have what they call the septic tanks. Usually they are not very well insulated, and the sewage just infiltrates into the aquifer. And when we talk about the aquifer, the groundwater at that part of the world, look, the coastal aquifer is shared between Gaza and Israel. The mountain aquifer is shared between the West Bank and Israel. The northern aquifer is shared between Lebanon and Israel. The Jordan Valley aquifer is shared between West Bank, Jordan, and Israel. The Arava aquifer is shared between Israel and Jordan. So it doesn't matter where the pollution starts, it impacts every one of us. And if the villages in Palestine don't have a sewage network, the villages in the West Bank don't have a sewage network. The sewage doesn't stay in these villages. It goes to the shared aquifer between Israel and the West Bank. So we developed this technology that's totally off the grid, modular system. It can serve one home or one village or one school. It treats the wastewater, and the treated or the recycled water. And recycled water, this is how you Americans like to use that that word. The recycled water is used by farmers, by the villagers for irrigation. So first of all, it solves an environmental challenge, and two, produces the water that they can help do farming, create jobs and income for these villages. We installed these systems in the Arava, in the Negev, in the Bedouin communities, in schools in the Bedouin communities, and also in the northern parts of the West Bank. And here you see this photo is from Nablus, in a school in Nablus. And here you see the photo of the team. Here we have the Palestinian team that we work with. We have our head of the Center for Transponder Water Management, Dr. Clive Lipshin, and we have 3 interns who work in this project. This photo was taken during the same week that Nablus faced a lot of tension. Israelis were killed in that region, Palestinians were killed in that region. And our team, okay, look, when I say our team, it's the Arava Institute teams with no Palestinians. Clive is Jewish, and these are international interns, American interns. They've been welcomed in that community. And the head of the municipality asked to meet them and thank them for the work that they do. This only happens when you manage to build the trust. People ignore the political conflict and welcome you because they know that your agenda is the environment. Your agenda is to build the trust and to build peace and to make the lives of people much better. We do also projects in the Jordan Valley with the Palestinian and the Jordanian farmers on brackish water desalination, off-grid technologies, use solar energy storage systems to help farmers get higher quality water that helps them to diversify the agricultural activities. We do also a lot of international cooperation. This is just one example of that with Oxford University. We are building a model for the natural resources of the Middle East. How these natural resources look like under 2 scenarios. One, if countries plan alone, and if the second scenario, what happens to these natural resources if countries talk to each other, plan together, the water, energy, food nexus. And the initial results of this model shows that the region can benefit, or the benefits can be up to like almost $20–25 billion if countries plan together. This team visited the region last year, team of Oxford University and the Arava Institute. They met Palestinian officials, Israeli officials, and Jordanian officials. And they heard one sentence that says, we wish to know how the other side, they're planning their natural resources. Because if we know the numbers, if we know their plans, our plans will change. But because these teams don't talk to each other, we don't benefit from the regional cooperation in that part of the world. Another important project that we have, which is a joint project between the Arava Institute, University of Arizona, the Dead Sea Arava Science Center, the Jewish National Fund, is what we call the agri-photovoltaic. It's the dual use of land, to do agriculture in solar fields, or to have solar fields in agricultural land, to continue doing agricultural activities and also produce electricity. So electricity becomes like another product for the farmers. And we study the impact of shading of photovoltaic panels on the performance of the agriculture, and the impact of agriculture on the amount of electricity that is produced. And we managed actually to grow several crops with almost no difference, which is a great result for such project. We were the first pilot in the Middle East to test such project. The Jordanians are very interested in this project. The Moroccans are very interested in this project. The Gazans also. And currently we are expanding this project, and we are building more pilots in the Arava region. So what we do at the Arava Institute and the Araba region doesn't stay in the Araba. The whole region is benefiting from that. We are actually the place that produces hope, place that produces the ambassadors of Israel, the ambassadors of environment, the ambassadors of cooperation and peace. We have more than 1,800 alumni in the region, and we have an alumni network. We continue our connection with our alumni. In the next week, or in 2 weeks, they are meeting in Kibbutz Keturah, the alumni of the Arava Institute, for the annual gathering. Sometimes it happens in Israel, sometimes in Jordan, sometimes in the West Bank. And they come, they discuss ideas, and they continue the cooperation. They are a community. One graduate or one alumni doesn't stay one alumni. They create companies, they establish companies, they establish non-governmental organizations. We have professors in Jordan, Israel, Palestine that they are alumni of the Arava Institute. So they impact the communities that they live in. And I would like to end with this slide. It's the Beyond Borders tour that we do at the Arava Institute for those who are interested to learn more and to see the projects that we have, that we do at that part of the world. We call it Beyond Borders. It's because it's beyond Israel. It's Israel, West Bank, Jordan, and we are thinking of expanding it beyond the Israel, Jordan, Palestine, maybe including the United Arab Emirates and Morocco. It's a great way to be exposed to the work of the Arava Institute, to learn about the environmental challenges of that region, and also to see the region. I will stop here, and I would like to thank you again for this great opportunity, and for your support to the work of the Arava Institute. And please, if you have any questions, let me know. You can find my email or the email of our team in Boston at the office of the Friends of the Arava Institute. I'll be more than happy to answer any question you may have. Martin, I see that you raised the hand. Barry, we can't hear you. You're mute.
Okay, hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It was a great presentation. As a solar consultant in Boston, I'm very interested about the solar on agriculture. Could you expand a little more about that? Were you saying that you could grow crops just as effectively under solar panels as you would without them?
Yes. Okay. In the Arava region, where you have plenty of solar radiation, the Arava is one of the regions that receives one of the highest solar radiations in the world. And here we are talking about solar fields with a certain type of height, in order to allow more light to come into the crops. And we build the solar field in a way that you can control the angle, and you can control the spacing between photovoltaic panels. So no change between the control experiment and the solar experiment that we did. And in one of the experiments that we did, actually, we saw better performance under the photovoltaic panels, especially for crops that they generate leaves, because when they don't receive enough solar radiation, they get into stress and they produce larger leaves to receive more light. And this is what you need in certain crops. We did not see anything in tomato, corn, even and look, corn in the desert. This is and also you create microclimate, and the electricity that's generated, you can use it to desalinate water. And once you have high quality water, you can diversify your agricultural activity. The goal of this project is not only to serve small countries who don't have enough land. No, but many countries around the world will become like the Arava because of the climate change. And we have, this is a great way to cope with or help farmers to adapt to climate change. The Israeli Ministry of Agriculture, the Israeli Ministry of Energy is looking seriously into this concept on agri-photovoltaic, not only for agriculture on land, but also for aquaculture. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Yeah, so I have a question here that says, what is the role of desalination in the region's future water supply?
It's the solution for the water scarcity in this region. But let's not forget one thing: desalination is an energy-intensive process, and we don't want desalination to contribute to climate change. We want it to be a solution for climate change, and the electricity that is used for desalination should come from natural resources, from the sun. It's a solution not only for Israel, it's a solution for the whole region, and that's why actually I showed it in my first slide, and I said it's tikkun olam. It's a way to help people use these technologies, off-grid technologies. These technologies should not rely on the grid, and desalination is the solution for the future. It has some environmental impact, but the benefits are much higher.
Okay, Bill Hoffman has this question: how does Arava get cooperation with military in each country whose mission is to prevent free passage of people and equipment? So I guess maybe like, how do you get into Gaza, or, how do you get that cooperation?
Look, we are a non-governmental organization, and we work with non-governmental organizations. That's how we managed to do this work. We managed to do this work because of the trust that we built. Even our enemies, people or organizations or political parties who doesn't want to see the Arava Institute implementing projects in these locations, they stay quiet. They close their eyes. We do all of these projects in full coordination and cooperation with the Israeli government. We know that Hamas knows about these projects, and our Gazan partners know that Hamas knows that they implement these projects, and Hamas knows that these projects are to the benefit of the people in Gaza. That's why they just close their eyes. And in the inauguration of these projects in Gaza, our Palestinian partners said it openly. This is in cooperation with the Arava Institute in Israel. They said that it's a public information. They knew that we do this work, and that's the only way actually to change the region that we live in. It's not easy. These projects took us years to implement, us years to build the trust. We receive a lot of criticism, a lot of attacks, but again, this is what we believe in. This is the only way, or the bright way, that we see for Israel and its neighbors.
Okay. Hi, Kempler wanted to know how much do your projects rely on fossil fuels versus renewables?
Okay, all the projects that I showed here, they run on solar energy. They're totally off the grid with energy storage, and they run 24/7 without being connected into the grid. And these are projects that I showed that we do with the communities in the region. And when I showed probably the fourth slide about our research centers, I said that we cover the whole spectrum of research, basic, applied. We do a lot of research on solar energy in our labs, social aspects of solar energy, energy poverty, public acceptance of solar energy, renewable energy, hydrogen as alternative for fossil fuels. We do a lot of research also on that. And I'm very proud to say that the Araba Institute tested the solar panels for the first solar field in Israel and the Middle East. And the Araba region produces 100% of its electricity during the day from the sun.
Okay, another question I have here is how much water is lost just to aging infrastructure, like old water mains, leaky pipes, that type of thing?
This is really a great question. In Israel, it's much less than the neighboring countries. No, in Jordan, this percentage can go up to 50, even 60% losses because of the leaks in the water network. Before 2 months, I met with an engineer that he has an idea of reducing these losses, and they want to implement a project in Jordan. This is a great question, not only because of the importance of water and importance of the leaks from the network. Look, water is electricity, and electricity is fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are climate change, and to reduce the leak from these networks is important for everyone to cope with the climate change. And Israel has the know-how to desalinate, to reduce the leaks, and also to recycle the water. Israel recycles probably very close to 90% of the sewage, and the next country in the world is Spain. I think it's 19%.
So, earlier you had talked about, the sewage from Gaza, coming up to Ashkelon. I mean, what efforts, I mean, I know you have these systems out there. What steps are being or can be taken to prevent that sewage, to correct that sewage problem in Gaza, to actually get, Hamas on board with just wanting to do that?
Okay, this is also another great question. These projects are small-scale projects. We know that probably these projects will not solve the full picture, the whole problem. But these are proof of concept that these things may happen. The cooperation is possible. Currently, we are working on convincing the Palestinian side and the Israeli side to build large-scale solar field in the border between Israel and Gaza. And this electricity will be used to desalinate water and also to treat the wastewater to solve this problem. The problem is huge, and without having enough electricity in Gaza, these problems will continue. And when you can imagine a solar field in the border between Israel and Gaza, the electricity goes to the Gazans. So Hamas will think twice before doing anything to that plant, because the electricity goes to them for water and to treat the wastewater.
Okay. And what can Israeli technology, I may rephrase this. What Israeli technology can we share with the UAE and other advanced regional partners?
Okay, the Abraham Accords is a great opportunity for the Araba Institute. As I said, we have 26 years of experience in regional cooperation, and we can easily enter that market of the cooperation with the United Arab Emirates, Morocco, Sudan, and Bahrain. These countries have, first of all, similar climate like Israel. It's hyper-arid region with almost zero rainfall, and they are also under the threat of a climate change. And To deal with these two issues, the Arava Institute and Israeli companies and Israel can contribute significantly on water desalination, on agri-tech, high-tech, green tech. And these countries know that the future is in these technologies. And Israel is one of the leading countries in these fields. That's why actually the Emirati, Moroccan, Sudani, Bahraini organizations approached the Arava Institute and said, look, guys, we hear that you do these wonderful projects in the Middle East, and we want to cooperate. They see that value of cooperating with the Arava Institute and other Israeli organizations.
Okay, well, thank you very much. This has been very, very educational. We learned quite a bit, so I really appreciate your taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Okay. Goodbye.